We're back with another episode of Beyond the Hustle, where we turn pain into purpose and life and business. And I'm super excited because today's live is all about what the Spartan Beast Race taught me about business and about myself. So, for those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm your host. My name is Isabel Varela. I am a holistic business coach, shamanic practitioner, and the founder of Repurpose Your Life. So today we're going to be diving into three things. Number one, how to coach yourself through the hardest moments in business and life. Number two, why leadership resilience looks a lot like a Spartan race. Number three, how to build your own proof list to push through fear and uncertainty. So let's start with this. Look, I haven't done a triathlon in almost 15 years. I used to be a competitive swimmer in college, and even though I have kept active, 5Ks, hiking, a lot of walking, nothing compares to the challenge of the Spartan Beast Race. This was one of my lifelong goals, was to complete one of these because I wanted to test my limits physically, mentally, and spiritually, and boy, did it. And I chose the Spartan Beast in particular because of the obstacles, the terrain, and the discipline it would demand. And just like in business, I wanted to commit to something bigger, just like many of you, something that would stretch me and build real discipline and consistency in my life. And every year, I pick two major challenges, one for life and one for business. And this year, it's been the Spartan Beast Race and writing my first memoir for Repurpose Your Life. Now, here's where it gets funny, because I didn't know until the race day, September 13th, that I had signed up for the hardest Spartan race in the world. 30 obstacles, 13 miles of rough terrain, and a section that was called the Death March, making it the hardest Spartan race, which is 1.6 miles of a pure vertical climb. And this was all happening after I tore my meniscus in February of 2024. I had to rehabilitate my knee and only started training about 9 months ago. But I committed and I followed through. And here's a parallel to business and really important message to all of those entrepreneurs out there, and especially for all of you that are watching the replay. When you commit to something, whether it's launching a new offer, launching your business, scaling your company, or even signing up for a race, you're going to hit challenges, lots of roadblocks, and moments you want to quit. And it's not about motivation. It's about discipline. It's not about feeling inspired or feeling ready, because you're never going to feel 100% ready, because that doesn't exist. You're never going to feel inspired every single day. But what counts is the discipline, because when motivation fades, discipline carries you through. And even more than that, and this is why I am a strong believer of building a life and business with purpose that makes an impact that is greater than you, and you have greater vision, something bigger than yourself. All of those hard times that you want to quit with all the challenges, all the roadblocks, they're worth it because of what you are building and creating that's making an impact in your community, locally and globally. And the loudest voice you'll ever face is going to be the one in your head. You're going to hear, this is too hard. I'm not ready for this. I can't do this. I think I should just quit. I think I'm going to fail. And that's where reframing and repetition comes in. And this is something that I teach. It's called the emotional reframing framework in the work that I do with my students, my clients, because at the end of the day, in business, in life, and even in this race, it's you versus you. You're either your own coach or your own obstacle. So tell me, everyone, especially all of you watching the replay, and thank you for all of you that have showed up today. What is the biggest Spartan, also most difficult moment you've ever faced in your business lately? And it's that moment where you wanted to quit, but you didn't. So here's lesson number one, coaching yourself through the hard moments. So when I first started the race, I was excited, nervous, but ready enough. And I began with a small team, And within the few miles, we started to separate and go our own way. By mile 5, we'd already been going 4.5 hours. By mile 10, I had 10 minutes left before disqualification. And let me tell you, this Spartan race was literally, so the height of the mountain in Vermont was about 6,900 feet. And there's a 16,900 feet of elevation gain throughout the entire race. So that means up and down, up and down, the entire race for 13 miles. And the obstacles include anything from going over 6 feet, 8 feet, 10-foot walls, to crawling under barbed wire, getting dunked in the mud, pulling yourself up walls, to rope climb, all kinds of things. Climbing a super tall, probably like 25 feet tall frame, and so much more. My legs were shaking, my knees were screaming. I had cramps in both calves, and thank God I actually packed extra food, extra electrolytes, and also magnesium. At that point, I had a choice. I can either stop at mile 10 because I'm about to get disqualified, or call it a day, or find a way to keep going. And that's entrepreneurship in a nutshell. And maybe you've had a cash flow crisis. Maybe you've launched a website, no one showed up. You've launched an offer, no one showed up. Maybe you've maybe you're scared to show up online, or you've had to fire someone you thought would stay on your team. And in those moments, you don't always have motivation. You have to self-talk and self-coach yourself and reframe that narrative and go through the fear and the doubt of not really knowing maybe what to do next, how to solve this problem, but trusting in yourself enough that with all the skills that you have until this day will be enough for you to move forward. So these conversations, as I'm going through the Spartan race, and I did not get disqualified because I did have 10 minutes left and I made it. This is what it sounded like. Isabel, you've done this before. You've done hard things before. Look at how far you've come. You're here. You've already survived the worst. If they can do it, you can do it. And what was very helpful is I had other people that have lapped me, and they were doing this race twice. It's called the Ultra Spartan Beast, where you do the race. It's like 30 miles, or 30K. As they're passing, they're also saying, keep going. You got this. Keep one step more. Others telling me how to breathe in and breathe out so I could continue this climb called the Death March. And it got to the point where I had to face one of my deepest fears in hiking, is being completely by myself in the middle of nowhere with no one in sight, in a place I've never been. And that was it. I actually had to go through that. And that was one of my biggest fears, because everyone else had dropped out and I was more in the last remaining people that were finishing up the race. And that's business. You start with people, you lose some, you gain others, support. Other people don't continue because building a business is hard. And there's a lot of glamorization in business and entrepreneurship online, but that's for another life or another day. Some people take breaks, some speed ahead, but the ones who win are the ones who keep going. Number 2, leadership resilience, pace, rest, and recovery. One of my mentors always told me, the slower you go, the faster you will get there. And that became my mantra on the Death March, well, the entire Spartan race, because there were times where I could barely breathe because of the altitude, because I was exhausted. My legs couldn't go anymore. And on this death march, because it's so steep, there were sections of it where I was standing, and if I were to go backwards, I would fall. So I started crawling. And I remember thinking, the slower I go, the faster I will get there. So if I go slow, consistently with discipline, just like in business, I'll make it through. Breathe in through your nose and over and out through your mouth. And I stopped looking up because sometimes it could be demoralizing. And there were points, and that point was at 7,000, almost 7,000 feet high, that it really compared to business and even in life. Because when you're scaling something with purpose, when you're building something, you're an entrepreneur, you see the top. Sometimes you can see the finish line, but it feels impossibly far away. You want to rush, you want to sprint, you want to hurry up and get to the end. But if you move too fast without resting, you'll burn out physically, energetically, mentally, emotionally. So I paced myself, I listened to my body, and I trusted my intuition. And that is something I believe in the work that I do, is teaching the feminine leadership, because intuition and empathy is so important. And because leadership isn't about constant motion, it's about knowing when to pause, recover, and keep going. And now coming to the finale, lesson 3. This is going to be very important. So I recommend, if you have a notebook, journal, or you can even use your phone to write the notes. The proof list. It's remembering what you've already overcome. So every single time in my life I wanted to quit, whether it was in my business or personally, I always went back to my proof list. And it's the evidence that I've done hard things before. The things that I thought that I could never do. I overcame my shopping addiction. I paid $100,000 in debt. I built 4 successful businesses. I've generated over 1 million in revenue, which took 12 years, because in the midst of that, I was also having to completely transform my mind, rewire my intentions, thoughts, behaviors, actions. And then almost $500,000 in the past 3 revenues with Repurpose Your Life, and building a business from here with passion, and most importantly, making an impact in society. I moved to New York City alone. And these are just a few of the hard things that I've personally have to overcome. But I continued and started over again and again, and risen every single time. And when I hit mile 11, my legs were locking up, and I told myself, look at this view, look how far you've come. And if you can do this, you can do anything. And this proof list is something I've kept since 2011, when I first started therapy, and when I found my mentor that really helped me to completely change my entire life. And that's why I do the work that I do, because I need to face my own demons, because we forget that building a business is personal development on crack. Your business will always mirror your inner world, period, always. And you're going to learn the most, and you're going to have the most growth as an entrepreneur. And that's why I teach, as I shared earlier, empathy, emotional resilience, and decluttering what no longer aligns to you, because decluttering isn't just about the physical. It's way more than that. And this proof is very simple. It's a list you can date when you accomplished a certain adversity, overcame trials in your life, tribulations. And it doesn't always have to be business. It's important to keep it both. So my list is very long, but I usually keep a list of 10 in my phone, in my notes, and especially for the Spartan Race, because whenever I wanted to give up, and I asked myself, why in the hell am I doing this? But realizing how far I've come, you also learn to see who you've become, because it's not just about what you've achieved, it's who you've become to be able to overcome all those trials and tribulations and adversities in your life that you didn't think you could overcome. And this proof list helps you to see, oh my God, I'm not the same person I used to be. So I recommend everyone write it down, write these pieces of notes, keep it with you, because it's going to remind you of who you are. Because when you face fear again, because it's always going to be there, fear, doubt, that list will always become your anchor. And then eventually reframing won't feel so forced. It becomes natural because your belief will outweigh your doubt and your courage will outgrow your fear. So everyone, I did finish. By mile 13, I was done. I was bruised, scraped, exhausted, very hangry because I was hungry. My knees throbbing, my back screaming, my hip was aching. And we had one last incline until the finish line. And I finished at 9:05 p.m. with 16 others. And we crossed that line. I was dead. I was in the dead last area. The dead last group. And I didn't complete all the 30 obstacles, but I did finish 17. And it was way more than my personal goal of 10 and even past my stretch goal of 15. And I realized it's not the obstacle that defines you. It's the decision to keep showing up and trying. Because whenever we try and take action, 3 things happen. Number 1, your self-respect goes up. Number 2, whatever skill you're practicing, it gets better and it improves. You get stronger. And then number 3, you increase the probability of whatever result to actually occur. And there's going to be times when you want to quit, definitely in this race and definitely in business and even in life. But before you do, ask yourself, did I truly give it everything I could? Am I quitting because it's done or because I'm scared to fail? Because the truth is, who you become in the process is the real win. And after the Spartan race, I laughed to myself and said, well, I have no more excuses anymore, because if I can do something like this, then I have no excuse not to go after anything else that scares me. And when you overcome a challenge like that, you realize how powerful you truly are. And you build this emotional resilience, brick by brick, overcoming challenge, fear, doubt. You build mental strength and you build spiritual endurance. And you understand that fear doesn't disappear. It just gets quieter. So everyone, as you reflect on your own journey, ask yourself, what's the Spartan wall, the challenge you're facing right now? What's that 10-foot climb you need to take on? And what's the mountain that you're standing in front of? And what's on your proof list that reminds you that you can climb it? And if this resonated with all of you, I created something very special and powerful to help you bring this mindset into your business. It's called the Vision to Reality Toolkit. It is a free 22-page workbook to help you build clarity, structure, and momentum without the burnout. You can download it, you can use it, and let it remind you that you don't need to get ready. You just need to decide to step up and rise. Because whether it's a Spartan race, whether it's a 10-foot wall, a business challenge, something in life that you need to overcome, you've already proven that you can do the hard things. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Beyond the Hustle, turning pain into purpose in life and business. Stay tuned for next week's episode. I'll be joined by Taylor Engel, who went from corporate to entrepreneurship and used the Repurpose Your Life method to completely transform her business and her life. I'm so excited. And for all of you that are interested in the Vision to Reality Toolkit, let me know down below. You can just write and message me saying toolkit, I'm interested. And as always, I'll see all of you next week for the next Beyond the Hustle.